it's Lenneke from Len's Crafty Life, and I just show you how I keep myself busy now that I cannot craft in my craft room, because my craft room is in the attic and it is about 29.5 degrees there. Now I know 24 degrees is about 75 Fahrenheit, so it's beyond that. It's too hot for me. 24 degrees, 75 degrees Fahrenheit is my perfect temperature. And anything above that is just way too hot for me. So I'm downstairs now, and it is actually 25.5 degrees down here, degrees Celsius that is. So it's pretty hot here as well. So all that I'm doing, I'm not going out today. It's about 38 degrees outside. And all I'm doing today is sitting on the couch, and I have this bag, so downstairs. Well, I can hardly, it's quite large. It's this kind of like woven bag, wicker bag, and it is stuffed with fabrics. You probably know that I like to go to charity shops, and I often get materials like this for the trims. Here is a pom-pom trim, but this is a tablecloth. It has lots of beautiful little appliques, flowers on it, and I want to get these off and use them in my crafts. So this whole bag is full with clothes, tablecloths, scarves like this with beautiful trims and materials that I can use in my crafts. I just have to, what I call, de-trim them, get them off, get the trims off. And that's what I'm doing today. I've had this bag down here for a long time, never got around to doing it, so this is the time. I've got this tiny little tool, you probably know it, not sure what it's called. It came with my, it goes like this, it came with my sewing machine. If you have one, it's probably stuck in there in a little compartment. And it's very nifty to get things off. I'll show you how it works later in case you don't know, but I guess you probably all know. And this whole trim was on the side of a tablecloth. I had already cut it off the tablecloth, but there was like the material was still here. But this took me literally, this is probably about 3 meters, about 3.5 yards, maybe 4 yards. It took me literally 1 hour to get this all off. So you can guess I kind of lost my patience. So I thought, well, there must be a quicker way. And I got my proper fabric scissors out, and I thought, well, I'll just cut it off the material very tightly to the trim, and this is the result, which is pretty good, isn't it? So you can see here, it's more a bit see-through here. There's a tiny little bit of fabric right behind it, you can see here. But I think that will do for me, because when you use this in crafts as a dangle trim, you usually put something on top of here. And even if I wouldn't, you still don't really know there's any little bit of fabric behind it. I did have to cut it from 2 sides because it was kind of sticking out on this side as well, so you could see it here. So, but that was much quicker than unpicking it with this. So when you do this, this was so tightly sewn onto the fabric that literally every stitch I had to unpick by hand, or every 2 or 3 stitches. Now, if something is stitched on with larger stitches, or just try it out, see if it comes off easily. If it doesn't, use your trusty scissors. That's what I did. Now, for example, this trim I took off as well. I think it's very pretty. It was on a tablecloth as well, and it came out very easily. So I did unpick it with this little tool. So there's lots of it. These tablecloths have probably cost me maybe €1 or $1.50, so which is about maybe $2 only, or £1 for a whole tablecloth, or £1.50 for a tablecloth, which I thought was worth it for this massive amount of gorgeous trim. So just needed to take the time to take it off. Now, this was from a scarf, very pretty scarf in a light grey. It's very sheer fabric, so I can use this fabric as well. It's got these beautiful rosettes on it, so it's very pretty. So I will keep the material as well, but I cut off the trim. This again, Usually on scarves it's woven on quite tightly. Maybe you can see that here, I'm not sure. So I decided to cut this off again. I hope I'm in focus. Very tightly to the fabric. Now here I have to kind of tidy it up a little bit. You can see a little bit of the fabric down here. But again, dangle trims you tend to layer on your projects. So you could use this one and then you could use like this one on top of it. Well, not in two different colors. I probably wouldn't use that. But, you know, just imagine this was white as well and this one. So then that tiny little bit of scarf that is stuck in here, you won't see on your project. Now here I did, unfortunately, but that's at the end. So I may cut this off. I unfortunately cut in here. But again, you can put like another trim on top of that and you won't see it. So I thought cutting was the best way, but apart from trims like this when it's stuck on or sewn on very easily, then I also had like a blouse, and what I did, it had these on the front, it had these ruffles going from, you know, from basically your neckline to your waistline. So I cut off very tightly next to the ruffles, and all I have to do is just iron it out a bit. And I've got a nice ruffle. It's from Broderie Anglaise. And it's already ruffled for me. So just a little bit of ironing and I've got a beautiful ruffle. So I got 2 of those from a shirt, a lady's blouse. Then it had these, the closure was like this, with these little loops. So I'll keep this bit as well. I'm not sure how I will use this. I may use it on some kind of a project, these closures. Excuse me. If you have an idea, let me know. But I quite like this, so I'm sure I'll come up with something. So just because I may use it, I kept the other side as well with the buttons. Now, of course, I may not use this together. I may use like little ropes or ribbons to go through it, or, you know, but as for now, I'll just keep these together and I'll see what I come up with or what you come up with. Now, these were the cuffs on the sleeves. And first I thought, well, I can keep them together and cut them off here quite tightly again. I have to iron this out. And maybe it will look nice, say, around a glass jar. You can fit in a glass jar, maybe like this. Put in a little tea light, you know. I don't know, maybe not, I don't know. But in the end, indeed, I decided to cut the cuffs like loose from the sides. And then you've got this, these are all sewn together. So this will be like a nice trim at the bottom of something, and I can even combine it like that, or put dangle trims even in between here. So that's another part of the shirt I can use. Now I did cut off the collar as well, not sure what I'll do with that, but since it was so nicely woven together, I thought maybe I can even make a flower out of this. I don't know, but I thought I'd keep that as well. Now then I have loads more, of course, but this is the last thing I'll show you. It's this material. It's like a sari scarf, but I mainly bought it for this gold trim. So here it's sewn on, but you can see the stitch is quite large, or I think at least it's quite large if it focuses. Focusing, I think it is. So you can, with this tool, you can very easily just go underneath it, unpick it. I don't mind that I go through it and then pull it loose. You see it goes quite easily, and I've already started it. This one is loose on one side. Here again, it's quite a wide stitch. So whenever you pull it, you see with that one movement, there's about an inch, 2.5 centimeters that comes loose. So this is worth unpicking for me. You see, I can kind of pull it loose quite a bit with only, you know, this one little movement, it comes off again. So then you've got this beautiful gold trim. So I have to, of course, get the loose little threads of it at the end, but this one again is worth unpicking with this little tool because it comes off quite easily. So I'll have some fun, continue with that. I switched off my fan. I'll very quickly switch it on again now because it's very hot. So I thought I'll show you what I'm doing to keep myself busy, and I'm desperate to do some crafting. Of course, I can read a book or do some cross stitch, but I thought I would do something else. And then finally I'm getting this bag with all these, well, probably not the whole bag, but tomorrow and the day after it's going to be hot. So I will have fun for the next few days, I think, with unpicking these, so de-trimming. So thanks for watching. Hope you're okay, wherever you are, in the heat or in the cold, and have a great time. Bye bye.